All right, it's your boy, Coach Vic, back again. More lessons for you in this nice module on how you can earn money for your business, earning for a course, et cetera, et cetera. So today, we're going to talk about money you can generate right now. No skills, no problem on. All right, so the things I'm about to share with you are less about finding cash and more about just going out and working for it. But you may think that you don't have the ability to get a second job or something like that. Well, these are all things that you can do right now online. Most of them are online that will pay you some money. But there are some positives and negatives to this. So let's actually jump into this right away because I'm not sure if these ideas are the ones that you will like more than the ones we presented in the previous module, but we'll see. So first, let's talk about the micro jobs. So what a micro job is nothing more than doing a small, easy, and repetitive task for a company, or basically a company that outsources that work to people like you for smaller companies who can't afford a full-time person to do the work. So what you can do is sign up to work at these or for tasks and things like that at Amazon. That's right. Amazon has a thing where if you sign up for it, what you will do is basically you'll do odds and ends for other companies. Like maybe you'll listen to a bunch of different voice recordings from voicemail, and you're transcribing it by hand. Maybe you're going and you're manually entering receipt data into a spreadsheet or something like that. So a lot of repetitive tasks that anybody can do, but it's, tasks that not many people want to do. Other places that are similar, Mechanical Turk, Fiverr, TaskRabbit, Scribe. There's a lot of places online. Depending on what you're doing or the website that you're going to will dictate the type of jobs that are available. So you have to go ahead and figure it out what will work best for you. You'll get more ideas of what type of jobs are available. Some jobs take a little bit more skill than others, like some no skill. It doesn't take much to listen to a voicemail and write down what you heard. Others, like you may need to know a little bit of Excel or how to, kind of use Word or something like that. But it just depends. So obviously the jobs vary, so do the pricing. Everything is variable, but you do a Google search for micro jobs, or you just type in TaskRabbit or Scribe. Their competitors will also put ads up in front of you, or you'll see other people, and it'll help you go down this little rabbit hole of different places and micro job marketplaces that you can basically look to get something quick and easy. Now, the thing is about the micro job, the good news about these things are these are things that most people, or if not anyone, can do. As I said, taking notation from a voicemail, anybody can do that, right? A lot of times you get paid right away. You'll have to set up your account and things like that. But in general, you're not waiting 2 weeks to get a paycheck, or actually more than 2 weeks, like a regular job. But it's something you can get paid, today, if not today, sometime very soon. And that could be important for what you're trying to do, right? You don't have to have real commitment to do this. So you can do these things anytime you want. So if you feel like doing some of these micro jobs on Monday and you don't feel like it, or you're just not able to until Saturday, no big deal. Do it when you want, quit when you want. You can start right now, and it's very easy to sign up. In fact, they make it so easy to sign up because they rely on people kind of doing this on a whim or an impulse. Because if you had to go through a long process to do these micro jobs, a lot of people wouldn't do them. Like, I don't want to sign up, take a long time just so I can listen to somebody else's voicemails and write them down. Obviously, one of the benefits is you can do this from home. You can do this from anywhere. You're home. You can do it while you're on vacation. You can do it. All you need is an internet connection, a laptop, maybe not even a laptop. Sometimes you only just need your phone, and you can just get started. You can sign up for an assignment. Make sure you check it off. You get the assignment details, and you just start working. Now, here are the cons of these micro jobs. First off, they're low skill work. That means it's low pay. The fact that anyone can do it means the companies who are looking to get these services done, they're not willing to pay a lot of money for it. So, you got to take that into consideration. Obviously, things that are more difficult to do will affect higher dollar amounts, but your mileage may vary. It's more difficult to multiply your money and your time. And what I mean is, you can't just be like, hey, I'm going to just, ramp this up to an 11 and do this more and then have it pay off, because there's only so many hours in a day. You only have so much energy, so much focus, and the jobs are different from different companies. So Amazon may have all the companies who are willing to participate in this, but they don't regulate the price from what I understand. I could be, correct me if I'm wrong, but the companies kind of say, hey, this is what I'm looking to pay to get this task done. And it's up to you if you want to do it. So you might be doing the same task for 3 different companies, but you might get 3 different rates. Now, eventually the marketplace will probably stabilize for some common tasks. But in general, you don't really have any control. So you can't be like, hey, if I just work X hours a day, I'm going to make this much money. It's hard to do that when the prices fluctuate and the jobs are out there that fluctuate. And so basically because of that, since the pay is low, you have to work longer. So what little free time you have is truly going to be gone as you try and do these micro jobs. And that's a quick way to make you want to quit before you get to your financial goal. So this is basically, if you keep it real, it's just a low paying part-time job. Sure, you got flexibility and all that, but you ain't got no benefits. You ain't even really an employee. You're just some random dude that's like, yeah, go ahead and do this job for me, and I'll throw a couple shekels your way. So depending on, again, who you're working for and what portal you go through or what marketplace you go through would dictate how you feel about that. But facts are facts, right? And one thing that people don't realize, and some may not even think this is important, but the skills that you learn, they probably won't transfer to the real side hustle you're building. Now, I'll get into more of what I mean by that in a little bit, but it would be great if what you're doing now will actually build towards your actual future as opposed to just doing some menial task to get a couple dollars here and there. And like always, you're trading your time for a small amount of money. So that kind of goes back to, you can't really multiply your time. So it's not like you can learn how to be more efficient and, do 2 or 3 jobs at once. Or maybe you can, but I truly doubt it. Not with the jobs that they have you doing. So the next option you can do if you need some cash is a regular part-time job. Now, obviously, this is going to pay more than a micro job. And what I'm thinking of is like, working at a Starbucks or a grocery store or you name it, right? Retail like Target or Walmart, just a regular part-time job. Now, if you're lucky or you're very diligent, you can actually find a job in a related industry to what you're going to go into for your side hustle. So let's say you want to do FBAs, that's fulfillment by Amazon. You can work in a retail store, right? Now, you might think like, yeah, but you're not going to learn anything working in a retail store. And like, yeah, you're right, Chuckles. But if you're smart and industrious enough, you should actually start to rub elbows with the managers. Hopefully they're not dicks, but rub elbows with the managers. And if they're nice people, they'll give you an insight of what they do, their day to day. In fact, I don't know how many regular employees actually ask about their managers and what they do, because a lot of times they just see the managers as the man. And sure, they're the man as much as you are. They're just employees too. But as you see what they do and the different things that they have to go through for the, to keep the store on the up and up, you're going to learn some skills that you're going to be able to apply when you start your own online business. You may think just because it's not the same exact thing, you can't learn nothing. That's a foolish way to think about it. There's always lessons to be learned by people who are running things, who are in charge of things. So this is what I mean by your skills may not transfer. So if you're doing retail, but you're not going to run a drop shipping store or a Shopify store for your side hustle, then the skills won't transfer. So it'll be good if you can actually get something that's going to be somewhat related. You get to work with people. That way, you're out and about, you're meeting people, you're meeting strangers. And this is actually a good thing. If you want to be a true entrepreneur, you got to get good at meeting strangers, because those are going to be the people who are going to be your customers. If you're not good at talking with people, you're not good at conversing with people, it's going to be tough for you to make money. Even if everything you're doing is online, because you have to understand how other people think. You have to understand how other people do things and why they make the decisions that they do. And if you're not good at talking to people and learning and conversing, it's going to be hard for you to get into their minds and understanding how you should present your product, how you should say it, what products are actually going to be good and which ones are not. So this is a good thing. And, if you live alone, then you don't got to be alone anymore. Now, here are the cons of the regular part-time job. There's no real time freedom. I mean, sure, it depends on the job, but in general, if you're working at a grocery store, you got a shift and you just got to show up at work and do it when they tell you to. And you may get more shifts than you want, or you may get less shifts than you want. So you don't really have time freedom. You can't really do this from home. Again, it depends on the job, but in most cases, you're going to be at some physical location, putting on some little ass vest, you know, with a weird ass name tag on it, and you're dealing with people all day, right? Yeah, and I think you got to work with people. Now, sure, there's a great reason why you want to work with people, but sometimes they get on your nerves. They don't know what they're talking about. They're annoying. We have this weird and strange phenomenon thing. The customer is always right. Well, that ain't true. Customers are often wrong. Now, I understand where it comes from, the service industry, like, hey, make sure that you treat the customer well. Make sure that their requests are fulfilled, because at one point, those requests were probably not unreasonable. But nowadays, people are all types of crazy and stupid. So you got to work with these people. And it's not just the people you're going to be serving. It's also your knucklehead ass employee friends or coworkers. So, you know, it is what it is. And as I said, you can't make your own schedule because you don't know who's you're not the shift manager. You don't say who, when you get to work or not. Sure, you may be able to give suggestions, and I'm sure many jobs will try to accommodate you, but you don't always get a say. And sometimes you may be working when you really shouldn't be, like during a holiday or a loved one's special occasion or something. And to be honest, since it takes a while to get paid, you're going to have to commit to a job, and you probably won't like the job because you're only doing it to make a little cash to help you invest in your future. And if you're like me, as an entrepreneur, it's hard to work at somebody else's job as you're thinking about your job that you're going to be doing or your business that you're going to be building as soon as you get the chance to. So it's hard to stay focused and motivated when you're like, just going through this slug. But mindset trick, if you think of it differently, like, thanks to this job, I get to start my own business. Thanks to this job, I'm learning skills I'm going to need. You don't necessarily have to come in with that terrible attitude. That's just some of the mindset stuff I teach, and I get much more depth in when I do my group coaching and obviously my one-on-one coaching. Now, here's the next thing that you can do to help you make money right now, and it's the gig economy. So the gig economy is very simple. Basically, you're using your services or your abilities and your resources together. You partner up with bigger companies who are putting the word out for consumers. And the consumers say, hey, I need this and I need that. And you're like stepping up saying, hey, I can provide that. Pay me. The company that you're working with will take their cut and you get paid the rest. Examples are obvious. First, we think about ride sharing, right? So you have Lyft, Uber, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Seamless, being a full service shopper through Amazon or Walmart. So those are some examples. And we already know what Lyft and Uber are. Basically, someone on the app says they need a car, or excuse me, they need to arrive from here to there. You decide, hey, I can do that. I'm close. I'm nearby. The dispatcher, which is an AI machine, to say, you're close. You should pick this person up and take them to where they want to go, right? Grubhub and Seamless is similar, except instead of picking up people, you're picking up food and dropping them off to people. Often it's probably to somebody's work. And you have the full service shopper, which is similar to Grubhub and Seamless, but instead of picking up food, you're actually going to a grocery store or some kind of store in general, buying the things on the list that the person wants, and then you are delivering it to the person's house. So that's what a full service shopper is. You have Airbnb. You know, so basically you're renting out your room or your home or your apartment to like somebody who is out of town or who is in town. They need a place to stay and they don't want to stay in a hotel, maybe because of the pricing, maybe because they want to cook their own food, maybe because they want to be in a certain neighborhood, but you're allowing your own residence to be rented out for a short amount of time, usually a weekend or a week or so. But yeah, TaskRabbit, similar to a full service shopper, except they're a lot more varied, where yeah, you can actually have someone shop for you, but you can have somebody come in and build furniture for you, like that crappy IKEA bookshelf that's wobbling. You can have like somebody come in, or you bought some big monstrosity that you need assembled. They can do that, or fix something for you that isn't necessarily something you just purchase. So like basically a basic handyman. TaskRabbit will help people get linked up with that. And there's other services on TaskRabbit as well. And you also have Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, and other sites like that where you're using more of your cerebral skills. So your tech skills or your art skills, design skills, writing skills, skills of that nature to help people complete a project. You know, normally these are for other entrepreneurs. Now, let's think about ride sharing pros for a second. The first thing is that, you know, we know a lot of these pros. You make your own schedule. You want to start ride sharing, you hit a button, boom, you're ready to pick up passengers. The commitment is low. You can sign up for it and never actually pick anybody up. No one's going to give a shit. It's an easy setup. A lot of these places, they're getting a little bit more stringent on how they accept people, but they make it easy because they want as many people available for ride sharing as possible. The more people they have on their network available to get rides, that's the more fares they can collect from people. Depending on how you do it and where you live and everything else, you might get a decent amount of money, including tips. So that's why a lot of people are drawn to it in the first place. And you get to meet interesting people. So as you're picking people up, you're learning about where they're going and what they're doing. You can have some great conversation with these regular everyday people that you wouldn't ordinarily have access to. So there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do. And driving is so easy. And depending on some places, it's pretty stressful because you're dealing with traffic. But other places, it's very calm, it's easy. If you're smart, when you don't have passengers, you're listening to an audio book, or you're listening to hopefully a training that you invested in at some point, or you will invest in with this money to help you reinforce those lessons. So you get a lot more of that time to do things like that when you're doing ride sharing. And right now it's also hot in the streets. Everybody loves ride sharing. How many people, who doesn't know someone that Ubers or Lyfts right now? So here are the cons of ride sharing. You end up oftentimes, if you look at the expensive, you make less than minimum wage. Now, sure, if you're thinking about the fares you collect, so think about the fares you collect, and then the fees from Uber or Lyft or whoever, and then you have your gas, and then you have your oil changes, and you have your tires and all that. We'll talk about that in a second. And if you add it all up and actually do the math, you're going to see you're not making a ton of money right now. I'm sure there's ways to maximize everything you do. And perhaps if you had an electric vehicle, a lot of those expenses go away, but electric vehicles at the moment ain't cheap. So the app companies also treat you like an expendable pawn. People have been fighting to get more than just be treated as like a quote unquote contractor, so they can start to get health care and benefits and things of that nature. But it's an uphill battle. And Uber and Lyft, they don't want you to be treated as an employee, because then they have to be responsible for your health care and benefits and insurance and all these other things that they don't want to be responsible for. And if they have to start paying that out to the millions of drivers out there, they're going to go broke in 15 minutes, right? As I said, you put a lot more wear and tear on your car. So it's gas, it's oil changes, it's tires. You have random people coming in and out with their funk and BO. If you're doing this at night, when it's prime time, people are leaving the club. You got people who can and will puke in your car. And just getting it cleaned, all that's just wear and tear. There's people getting in and out of the car is just beating up the interior a little bit. People aren't being respectful to your car because it's not their car and they're drunk or they're just jerks in general. That stuff you got to deal with, because this is your car. This is your baby, and you're letting some random enter it, right? As I said, your car is exposed to randoms and weird food. So even if you're just doing Grubhub and you're just delivering food, weird smells are going to be in your car. At first it might be, oh, this smells so delicious. I can't wait to licking your fingers. But at the end of the day, your car's going to smell like, chicken masala or something. You don't want that. You want your car to smell clean and fresh. At least I do. Maybe you like your car to smell like random foods. And honestly, we got to be real. There is an element of danger if you're not careful. So Uber just recently released their first study of like the different incidents that people had using Uber. And I believe it was like over 3,000 people in 2018 had some kind of sexual assault happen. This was like 40 something, they average about 12, 11 murders per year. It's not always just the passengers killing the driver. Sometimes the drivers end up the rapist or the murderer too. So there is an element of danger if you're not careful. People have gotten robbed. There's all types of stuff that can happen. Now, is it that common? No. Like if you look at the statistics, I think it's less than 1% of people, something bad happens to them. Obviously, most people who've ridden in an Uber and Lyft has a positive experience, unless the driver is just terrible. So I'm not saying that this is like the common experience, but I'm just saying these things can happen, and it is a risk that you will be taking. And the more times you drive around people, especially in certain areas, certain neighborhoods, the higher the risk is. So now let's talk about Airbnb a little bit. Now, the Airbnb, the good thing about it, you don't have to do much. You just have to have a spare room or something, right? So it's not like you got to do anything besides keep the room clean and have a place for people to sleep and shower, right? You don't need anything else but your own apartment, your own house. And you don't need to own your house to Airbnb. Now, I'm sure if you started Airbnb your apartment and your apartment manager or your landlord didn't know, you might get yourself into trouble. But every now and then, it's probably not that big a deal, in my personal opinion. But hey, your mileage may vary. Don't just go by my advice, because I don't rent an apartment. So, you might want to see if you want to take that risk. You can just rent the spaces when it's convenient for you. So you're about to be out of town for a little bit, go ahead and make a little extra change. Maybe that little extra change will help you pay for your vacation, or obviously it's going to help you go towards joining the Get Off the Bench Challenge, where you can learn to build your own business or any other training that you're looking to do. And think about it this way, these rooms in your apartment or whatever, it's unused capacities. So let others use it when you are not. So the room is just sitting there empty anyways. Why not have it make some money for you? If it's sitting there empty, it's not really bugging you. It's not really in your thought process. So you might as well have somebody else use it. So unused capacity becomes used capacity. So now we're being efficient with our stuff, and that's green for the earth. Now here are the cons of Airbnb. You need your own unused space. So that means if you don't have a spare bedroom, you can't do this unless you're not in the house, right? And if you're not in the house, that means you got to leave the house for you to make a little money. And if you leave a lot and you're gone for weeks or days at a time, not a big deal. But most people aren't like that, right? You're letting strangers into your home. Again, this is the same thing that happens with Uber and Lyft. It's, people who, when it's not their home and it's not their stuff, people tend to take less care of it. And even if they're trying to treat the home or your home as well as they do their own, not everybody treats their home well. So your standard of like minimal care and cleanliness may be much higher than somebody else's. So you got to deal with that. And most people's experiences is pretty good, but you never know. You just got to be aware of these risks, right? Obviously, you got to deal with cleaning. You either got to do it yourself or you're going to pay somebody, and that comes out of your expenses. And like if you're actually doing this Airbnb thing as a side hustle, it's a little different. You'll probably make some partnerships with some cleaning companies, and so it'll be a little easier. And but in general, you're going to have to deal with cleaning. And I mean, who wants to clean somebody else's mess unless that's what you do for a living, right? And because you're kind of limited in space or whatever, you're going to be limited on when this will work. You got to be out of the house. You got to like go to your friend's house for a weekend or do something if you need money. And that's annoying. When you need money now, you don't want to have to take a trip to do it, but that's going to cost you money too, right? And if you don't live in a hot area, meaning an area where a lot of people are looking to stay, especially in the Airbnb, then not many people are going to rent it, or if they do, they're going to rent it for peanuts. So it's almost a waste of time depending on your situation. Now, honorable mention. We're talking about different things that you can do. One thing is you can become a research study participant. So you know how people have make jokes that, hey, you can become a test subject or a science experiment. Like I tried this, experimental pill and now I have twitches and tremors and I glow in the dark. Well, that shit's real. That is real. People are always looking for different study participants for their double-blind studies so they can make claims on a bottle of pills that they're trying to sell to you later on so you can lose some weight or some shit. So you can actually do that and you will get paid. All you got to do is go to Craigslist. And in the job section, there's a miscellaneous section. They'll have different like people looking for research participants. And you'll get paid depending on the part. The thing is how much you get paid, how long it's going to be. It all depends on each situation. But you can do that and you can start making money today. You can also do survey companies. So I used to do this in college. And so you will get paid for doing surveys, right? Some are online. Sometimes you're at a facility. Now, some survey companies are better than others, right? So some survey companies got you doing some crappy surveys that take forever and you get paid nothing. Or you get a chance to be in a drawing or some kind of lottery or something. Others are, hey, I'll pay you $5 to do this. And sometimes the survey companies themselves, they're like, you have to do a certain amount of surveys for you to actually qualify for your money. So, whatever. They're very low paid. The timing is random because you don't know what survey is going to come. You don't know if you'll be qualified for the surveys that come in your inbox, right? If you're a man and it calls for women, there's nothing you can do about it. If you're overweight and you're underweight, there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to wait until there's something that's up your alley. But when you do get the survey, they can be done in your spare time. You do have a small window, like, hey, we need this done by a certain date. But in general, you do have time to get it done. So that's always good. And sometimes, especially when you get to go to a facility, you get to see the latest and greatest stuff. So my wife has done this. She still does it sometimes, actually. And she got to see experimental things on YouTube. She got to taste new foods, new drinks. She got to see all types of stuff. And then like a better survey company, they'll pay you a lot more. They'll pay you $100 for your time. I mean, it does take some time too. Like the online ones, they're annoying and tedious, but you won't get paid that much, but they're easy. You can do them at home. The ones where you got to go into a facility and actually be there, you know, you'll usually get paid $100, $50, and then you also get to keep whatever they gave you, be it the food or whatever. So it's pretty cool. Sometimes you have to sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, saying, hey, I'm not going to tell people what I saw and tasted, you know, so you don't ruin a surprise. Because what if what you're trying is far from done and you're like, oh, this thing sucks. Well, of course it sucks. It's not finished yet, but you ruined it. And so if you were to do something like that, you will get in trouble. Yeah, you can find these on Craigslist and Google, both survey companies and become the research participant. So in conclusion, you now have some great ideas to help you generate cash, and you don't have to have any real skills. So there's no excuse for you not to, you know, if you need any money, be it for your investment or anything, you should be able to find any of these things available and get some money right away. Right? You can also use this to supplement some of your cash that you may have gotten using the information from the previous lesson. So if you were able to, you know, borrow from a personal loan and you still need a little bit more, or maybe need some more money on an ongoing basis, then maybe doing something in the gig economy can help you, or, you know, some micro jobs can help you. So don't just think of these as separate things. You got to do one or the other. You can combine what you want, make it work for you. Yeah, so as I said, it could also be a quick injection of cash after you invested in your business. So here's the thing. You now know two ways to basically go out and get money, right? One is asking for large sums of money from people or companies who have it. Others is to work for small sums of money for people or companies who have it. And these are all good ways to do things, right? There's no shame in your game here. But the problem is, I don't want you to think that's all there is to it. This, again, should get your mind expanded on what's possible and what options are out there that I'm sure that there's a couple of these in both lessons that you didn't know existed. Now, there's one more lesson we're going to go over. And personally, if you can't do something from the first lesson, it will this next lesson will be the way to do it. And the reason why I say that is because you're going to be able to learn something very important in this next way. So that's it for this. Hopefully you found this useful. Again, join me on the Get Off the Bench Challenge, where I take you through 21 days of getting your business off the bench. So after you got the money to invest, all you have to do is follow me with my live training. I'm going to walk you from step A to step Z. And by the end of that 21 days, you will be in position to make some money. Now, it's up to you if you're actually going to make the money, but you will be in position to do that. 21 days is all it takes. And if you want more of Coach Vic, well, book a call with me. I'm looking to take on some more clients. So if you want some one-on-one coaching, or you want to join my exclusive group coaching group and get a lot more mindset and a lot more business ideas, and just a collective group of people looking to support you and what you're doing, because the people at your house suck and they're not supporting you for shit, then go ahead, hit me up, Coach Vic. Book a call with me, and we can figure out ways that I can help you out in your business and ways that you can actually start making money. All right, so that's it for me. Hopefully you found this useful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next lesson. All right, peace out.